Okay, getting back to regular scheduling on the 5 things, we're going to jump into thing number 1 on your written sheet, 2 for the video version. The PCE is as expected, Gary.
Yeah, so the PCE stands for the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index. And the reason it's the preferred measure that the Federal Reserve looks at to figure out inflation is it's a closer measure for people's actual spending. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, it's basically a basket, but it's so managed and so manipulated that it doesn't really measure anyone's particular spending. The PCE is more tied to people's personal spending and is maybe a more accurate way of figuring out whether people's expenses are going up or down. This month, the PCE was up 2.5%, and the core PCE, that's the number that excludes food and energy, was up 2.8%. Now, what's really interesting about this is the Bulls and the Bears, the Hawks and the Doves, both claimed victory on this one. So the Doves, who want to see the Federal Reserve go to lower interest rates, shift to lower interest rates, they said, hey, this is terrific. The PCE is down, inflation is subsiding. We have disinflation, which we keep talking about as a reduction in the rate of inflation. And they're like, hey, this is terrific. We have a win here. The Hawks, who favor higher interest rates, were saying, not so fast here. First of all, you did have one of the indexes go down 0.1%. The other was up 0.1%. That is not really getting better. And the other thing is you had the PCE was really up 0.3% for the month. Now, again, we've talked about this before, really, really easy for people to say, well, 0.3%, why is that a big deal, right? Like on a $100 purchase, what is it, another 30 cents? Why does that matter? And the reason it matters is because it's month over month. And if you annualize a 0.3% increase month over month, you end up with, I want to say 3.7%, something like that. Yeah. So when that annualizes at 3.7%, that's almost double the Fed's target. And that's a huge problem.
So it looks like, Gary, both sides, Hawks, Doves, kind of using this data to validate or say that they are right. Are you a Hawk or a Dove? I think I know the answer to this question, but what's your take?
So here's the thing. I don't have, I don't have, my business doesn't depend on one or the other. Right now, what we're seeing a lot of people is a lot of people who are asset gatherers, right? People who they just want the market to go up because then they're managing more money and they take, a 0.5% fee or 1% fee or some fee based on assets. If asset prices go up, they get paid more. And they're saying we want lower interest rates to blow up a giant bubble. I think that's a bad idea. I don't have money one way or another. I think we do have a huge inflation problem. I think CPI and inflation is understated. And we've talked about this before. I think massive government overspending is going to lead to more inflation. The Fed doesn't have this under control yet. And again, another thing we've talked about regularly is that everything the Federal Reserve is doing, Congress with its overspending and the Treasury Department by monetizing that, by adding to the debt, is undoing. And so one part of the government is trying to bring inflation down. The other is pursuing policies which will increase inflation. To that extent, I actually think Powell and the Fed have made the right decision to not lower rates yet. That puts me in the Hawk camp. I don't identify as one or the other, but I do think they shouldn't be. I do think they shouldn't be lowering interest rates right now. So, here we are. I guess I'm on the Hawk side at the moment.
Sounds good.